thank you for coming to the kickoff for Crime Stoppers Month. I'm Detective Larry Straber, the coordinator of Toronto Crime Stoppers. And first and foremost, I'd just like to thank everyone, the media and people from the public and some partners and businesses who have come by and to join us on this kickoff day. Afterwards, there's a little bit of coffee and cookies and stuff off to the side. We can have a chat over there if you like. And that's great. Thank you all for coming. I'd like to first and foremost introduce or point out some of my staff that work here at headquarters. They're around the building. If you could just kind of stand up. These are the guys that work in the call center answering the phones every day. So if you ever call in a Crime Stoppers chip, these are the people that you'll be speaking to. And if they get out of line, just tell me. Also, there's some board of directors here from Crime Stoppers, Toronto Crime Stoppers, in the front row. And I'd just like to acknowledge these people as well. I'd like to also introduce Lauren Simon.
Thank you for coming out this morning. It's January again, hard to believe. A new year, and that means the launch of Crime Stoppers Month around the world. This is an international program, and somebody asked me, can we make this a holiday? Because I know in the US next week they have Martin Luther King Day, and I said to them, you just got off holidays, but they said it was a good try to make this a day off for everybody. But it's an important day for every Crime Stoppers program around the world. There are 1,000 programs and growing internationally, and it just shows you how successful the Crime Stoppers program is in helping serve communities to make them a better and safer place and an alternative for people to call in with information about a crime that has been committed. And each year we try to make this one of the best programs, and I know in 2006 we were voted the best program around the world, and I think that was an accomplishment. And that doesn't come easy. That comes with hard work from everybody that makes up this program, being the board members, the community, the members of the media, the Toronto Police Service, who work together in getting the name out there and making sure the program works. Having said that, we have some special guests that would like to say a few words on behalf of Crime Stoppers, and I'm going to start things off with our Mayor, Mayor Miller. Please come forward.
Thanks very much, Lauren, and thank you everyone for being here today to launch Crime Stoppers Month. And I'd like to acknowledge the work of the board, the work of Toronto Police Service, and Detective, thank you for your leadership and for the men and women on your team. The Board of Crime Stoppers, the Toronto Police Services Board, and Vice Chair McConnell, thank you for your leadership, and Deputy Chief Ward, thank you as well. I'm very proud of the Toronto Police Service and the work it has done, particularly in the past year, both preventing crime and apprehending those who do commit crimes. But in Toronto, we've built on the British tradition of policing derived from Sir Robert Peel, and that tradition is that policing is a partnership between the community and the police, and that to build a truly safe city involves the community as well taking ownership for public safety. And that's what Crime Stoppers is all about. It's about building a partnership between the people of Toronto, between businesses, labor, non-profit organizations, and the Toronto Police Service to ensure that when a crime happens, information gets to the police so that the people responsible can be arrested and dealt with. And I'm very proud of the success of Toronto Crime Stoppers. Lauren, I want to thank you particularly for your leadership. It's a successful program, but in the end, it depends upon the people of Toronto. And it's very simple. The simple phone number, 222-TIPS. On the way here today, I was speaking to my assistant, and I said, what's the phone number? And immediately it came out. So every Torontonian, if you know any information whatsoever, call 416-222-TIPS. It's anonymous. Let the Toronto Police Service know, and you'll be surprised at how positive your contribution will be to community safety, because information you have may be extremely relevant. You may not even realize it. So if you've been a witness in any way to a crime, please call 416-222-TIPS and let the Toronto Police know. And it's in that spirit that I'm very proud to proclaim Crime Stoppers Month, and I'd just like to read the proclamation, which reads, Crime Stoppers Month, January 2007. Whereas this year marks the 31st anniversary of Crime Stoppers, and during the month of January, communities around the world promote, share, and celebrate the success of Crime Stoppers programs. The City of Toronto supports the promotion of these community-based programs by proclaiming Crime Stoppers Month. Since its inception in 1984, Toronto Crime Stoppers has been responsible for the arrest of 8,371 individuals and the solution of 12,847 cases. Tips to the program have led to the recovery of $26,727,919 in stolen property and the seizure of $131,186,719 in illicit drugs. And this isn't in the proclamation, but those figures are extraordinary, and they're a testament to the efforts not just of Crime Stoppers, but of the people of Toronto who phoned their information in, and it shows the results that can happen when we work together in partnership. During the past year, Toronto's program embarked on a television campaign to promote a safe city working with the Homicide Squad and assisting the Hold Up Squad. Crime Stoppers is a partnership between the police, the community, and the media, and its incredible success is due to the continued support from residents and organizations. When concerned people watch out for each other and report crimes to the appropriate authorities, we all benefit. Now therefore I, Mayor David Miller, on behalf of Toronto City Council, do hereby proclaim January 2007 as Crime Stoppers Month and congratulate Toronto Crime Stoppers on their tremendous efforts and commitment and thank everyone involved for contributing to the success of this program. Thank you very much.
So again, a bigger version of the proclamation for you this morning.
If I read the big version, I have to read it really loud.
And again, thank you to Mayor Miller for those kind words. Now, do you have the power today to give us the day off because it's Crime Stoppers Month in the city of... Hey, just have your boss call the mayor. Thank you again for those words and promoting Toronto Crime Stoppers. As I said, Crime Stoppers is an international program. It's Crime Stoppers Month around the world. And we are honored today to have the president of Crime Stoppers International here in the lobby, Mr. Gary Murphy. Please stand up, who is our newly elected, acclaimed international president. And it just shows you how good Toronto is. Gary is a former board member in Toronto, and that's where he learned all about Crime Stoppers, and I taught him everything. So, look, he is now the big international prez. Nice having you here, Gary, and congratulations on your recent election win. Moving along this morning, I'd like to call upon Pam McConnell, who is the Vice Chair of the Police Services Board, to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Lauren, and Mayor Miller, and Deputy Chief War. If I could, I'd like to also acknowledge Staff Superintendent Grant, who has done a huge amount of work promoting the Crime Stoppers, and distinguished guests and members of the Toronto Police Services, and of course members of the community. Welcome to headquarters. On behalf of the Toronto Police Services Board, I'd like to officially recognize January as Crime Stoppers Month. It's a very important day and month in this headquarters. The police everywhere are facing, as you know, budget constraints. And the Crime Stoppers program here and throughout the world provides an invaluable service by offering investigators an impressive variety and volume of beneficial tips. And you know, that saves money and it saves time. But it also builds a bond between community and police. Investigations incredibly have been sped up, incredibly. And also, we have saved a great deal of very valuable policing time. But we've also received huge numbers of tips through the Crime Stoppers that have given us tips that we would have never known before. Our city, as you know, prides itself, in fact, on being one of the safest places in the world in which to live. And we, with our Crime Stoppers program, we have a great example here of how that successful partnership between the police, the media, and the community can help to build that reputation in our city. So we are exceedingly proud and supportive of this program at our police board. We are equally proud of our own particular board of directors and our own particular Crime Stoppers program, because they are not only part of an extensive network, but they are also seen as leaders in that network. Today, as you've heard, there are approximately 1,200 Crime Stopper programs worldwide, and of course, those programs have taken tips that have solved worldwide crimes, but also specific crimes here. Those crimes include homicide, they include sexual assault, they include robberies. They're some of the only tips that include domestic assault, and of course, as the mayor has described, drug trafficking. So why are we so proud of our own Crime Stoppers, and why do we believe that we're world leaders? It is because they have been recognized worldwide. And I want to really say how proud our board was on hearing that. At the annual conference, the Toronto Crime Stoppers program was presented with more awards than any other program in the world. And that was very special for us, and also it comes as the work of Lauren and his board of directors. The numbers, as the mayor said, speak for themselves. In 2006, tips to the Toronto Crime Stoppers program, 530 arrests, 3,000 charges laid, and over $24 million in traffic seizures. These are incredible statistics, but they are also incredible testaments to the immense power that has created when community, media, and the police come together to make our neighborhoods safe. So I'd like to express the thanks of the board to all of those who have been involved, both the staff and the board of directors. But also I would say that we want to make sure that not only is your dedication to safety commended, but it is supported and encouraged. Together, all of us here, the media, the police, the public, the communities, labor, all of the people who live in this city are working to ensure that not only are we the safest city to live in the world, but that we remain so. Thank you for all of your work.
I'd like to welcome Deputy Chief Tony War, Acting Chief today, and speaking on behalf of Chief Blair to say a few words.
Mayor Miller, Councillor McConnell, Vice Chair McConnell, President Murphy, Chair Simon, thank you very much for this opportunity to be here today. First of all, I'd like to pass on regrets from Chief Blair, who had planned to be here, but was delayed, and I'm temporarily acting chief, I think, for about another 10 minutes. So, thanks for the opportunity. It's a great honor to be here, Crime Stoppers Month kickoff for 2007. As you know, this program has been around in Toronto since 1984, and in 1990 was expanded to include the school Crime Stoppers program. It's been tremendously successful since its inception, and has led to the arrest of over 8,000 individuals and the clearing of over 12,000 cases, as you've already heard. At the 2006 Crime Stoppers International Conference, Toronto was recognized and presented with 8 awards, which included the prestigious President Award for our outstanding contribution made by Cal Miller to Crime Stoppers programs everywhere. Over this past year, we've had over 6,000 tips taken, which resulted in 480 arrests, 553 cases cleared, with 2,000 charges laid, $3 million worth of property, and over $21 million worth of drugs seized in the last year. The most recent initiative by the Toronto Crime Stoppers program was the Crimes Don't Solve Themselves campaign. This campaign was initiated to help generate tips and help reduce crime across the City of Toronto. This campaign is also aimed at educating and motivating more people to call Crime Stoppers with information about neighborhood crimes, and will promote the fact that tipsters remain 100% anonymous. While we are encouraged by the success of this program, we recognize that more needs to be done. We need witnesses to come forward and share with us any information that they feel may help us in catching those who are responsible for terrorizing our city or killing innocent people. The Toronto Crime Stoppers program is an excellent way for citizens to do just that. It provides people with a safe avenue of getting involved and helping the police without fear of retribution. It allows citizens to take a stand against this violence and assist the victims' families in finding a sense of peace by helping the police find those who are responsible. Much of the violence we have seen in our streets has been committed by a small segment of people who have been drawn into a life of crime and violence, either by circumstance or their own desire for power and money. So for this reason, we must reach out to young people before they go down the wrong path. Our Crime Stoppers school program has taken an important step in reaching out to young people by attending schools across Toronto and speaking to students from grade 6 and up regarding issues such as bullying, drugs, internet safety, and the consequences of committing a crime. There are two key messages that are given to these youngsters, which I believe apply to all generations. Do something. By remaining silent, the problem is allowed to continue or escalate. Don't let the bad guys make the rules in your neighborhood. It's normal to be afraid. However, the bad guys are relying on your fear to keep them free. Crime Stoppers allows you to provide information to the police but remain anonymous. In addition to reaching our young people, Crime Stoppers has also reached out to our senior citizens, speaking to them regarding issues of abuse, fraud, and what they can do to protect and help themselves. I am extremely proud of the Toronto Crime Stoppers program and all of the volunteers and officers whose dedicated and tireless efforts have greatly contributed to its success. We've begun a new year, and with it we must have a renewed desire to work together to keep our city and its citizens safe. Together we can put an end to the senseless and devastating violence and keep Toronto's reputation of being a safe place to live, work, and to visit. This January, as we kick off Crime Stoppers Month, I would strongly encourage anyone who has any information regarding a crime to contact Toronto Crime Stoppers, 416-222-TIPS. We're here to help you and to keep you safe, but we need your support to do it. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody here for attending and to, again, stress the
keep it up there in people's faces, and to, our mandate is to keep the phones ringing and pay out the cash rewards so people will have a safer place to live. Now, to launch the statistics for 2006, I'd like to call upon our coordinator, Detective Larry Straver. And before that, Larry, I'd like to thank you for putting this launch together with your team. So Larry has the stats for us now.
Okay, just so you know, one of the officers over here has a copy of the stats, so you don't have to write it down as we're speaking here. I'm going to try and get through this a little bit quicker than normal, so where is he? It's over, Billy Chan there. Officer Billy Chan's holding them up, so if you want a copy of it, just go ahead and get it from him. So for the year of 2006, Toronto Crime Stoppers received 6,876 tips. You might notice that there was a few quotes earlier. I had to give them quotes for them to prepare for their speeches, and we didn't have the year end yet, so I gave them late November on that one. So we've actually made up some tips in December, so 6,876 tips. As a result of those tips, officers arrested 530 people, cleared 616 cases, laid 2,994 charges, seized property of a value of $3,342,711, and drugs seized $23.6 million. So that's an outstanding numbers right across the board as far as I'm concerned. And you can thank yourselves, your neighbors, your friends, and everybody else that called into Crime Stoppers, because you are the people that are doing it. And you can thank your local officer the next time you see him as well, because they're the ones that are taking that information and doing something with it. So thank you very much. Obviously, with Crime Stoppers, it's anonymous, so we can't speak of specific tips that come in or specific cases that we help out with. But we can tell you that tips assisting officers in the arrests of people involved in shootings resulted in charges of attempt murder and murder. Sometimes it was as simple as getting a license plate from a vehicle fleeing a scene. That's how easy it could be. But somebody, if they're not willing to wave over a police officer at that time, they can pick up that phone and call Crime Stoppers. Tips have assisted police investigation, resulting in seizures of over 50 guns in the past year. That's 50 guns off the streets. Tips leading to the arrest of people wanted for robberies, whether they recognize suspects from surveillance pictures posted through you guys, the media, or whether they simply heard information and got the information through. So that's a big compliment to you guys in the media, because you are the ones that are putting those surveillance pictures out through your papers and on TV and talking about it on the radio, so we appreciate all that. And that's where the partnerships come in. Tips greatly assisted the fraud squad with information about various scams involving credit cards and debit card frauds. That's becoming more and more popular, and a lot of tips are coming in that area. Grow operations still remain a high problem, or a big problem in our community. They're of great risk to our community, so we appreciate every type of call that we can get with respect to grow ops. Immigration concerns, cigarettes to minors, pirated DVDs, welfare frauds. These are just some of the things that we get on a daily basis that come into us, and it's from you, the public, that are out there every day seeing what goes on. And even if you are not sure that it's a problem, you can still contact us, and we'll talk to you about it. We'll take the information and we'll get it to your community officers to make sure that they look into it. Just speaking of partnerships, there's a tip coming in. Speaking of partnerships, I'm not hanging up on them, I'm putting them on hold, just so you know. A short time ago, I was approached by Officer Eklund, Detective Constable in the Sex Crimes Unit, the Child Exploitation Section. They were looking to Crime Stoppers to help them. The idea was that they wanted to increase officer and public safety during search warrants, make themselves more visible and identifiable as police officers, and at the same time bring attention to the problem that was out there, the increasing problem that's out there, with the hope that possibly receiving more information and creating more witnesses. And this idea was put forward to the Crime Stoppers Board of Directors through Lauren Simon, and in partnership with a group called the Bargains Group, donated, Crime Stoppers and the Bargain Group donated a portion of their uniform that they now wear when they're going in to do a search warrant. So I'd like to call forward officers from the Sex Crimes Unit. We have Detective Constable Nicole Rubin and Detective Constable Andy Eklund to display the shirts that they now wear during search warrants. And also coming up with us is Staff Inspector Jane Wilcox, who is the unit commander for the Sex Crimes Unit. So if I can, Crime Stoppers, Toronto Crime Stoppers would also like to make a presentation to the Sex Crimes Unit. And I'll just read it out for you here. Toronto Crime Stoppers presented this certificate of appreciation to Toronto Police Service, Sex Crimes Unit, Child Exploitation for your dedication and commitment to protecting children around the world and your outstanding support of the Crime Stoppers program. Thank you.
behalf of Toronto Crime Stoppers, we look forward to working with you on different initiatives. See, we're even in the fashion business. We have Vogue magazine here today. Anything to get the name out there. It's all about branding, and glad we could work with the sex crimes unit in the child exploitation unit, and a very important cause in what they do and all the great work that the community knows that they do. So anything you need, we're here, and we look forward to working with you on further initiatives. On behalf of the Toronto Crime Stoppers program, we appreciate the partnership and the resources and the support that you give our program, that we can all work together, Chief. So we'll say that in person, and great to see you today, and Happy New Year. I know personally, as a chair, and one of the things I really wanted to do as a chair when I took on this position was to bring in an advertising agency that could give us continuous marketing support, doing it the right way, and getting the right message out there and to our target markets, and we all you know, knew we needed some out there. And I guess to me it's a dream. When this was launched last year in October of '05 at the Cash for Guns campaign, when we kicked off this first ad campaign with our advertising agency, and now we're into part two, we're into Hollywood now. It's television, can you believe it? Crime Stoppers has a TV commercial that was launched in late December. It was a soft launch, and we're excited now. It's January. We're going to start seeing this commercial more. But we're, like I said, we're just lucky to have an ad agency on board as our agency of record called DDB Canada, a world-renowned agency. With our past campaign, we won numerous awards for the Cash for Guns, and I know we're going to win many awards with this campaign, and most of all, the phones are going to ring because of this campaign. Right now, I'd like to call upon the VP and Director of Creative Services down at DDB Canada, or up at DDB Canada, just up the street. A name I never forget, Andrew Simon.
Very honored to be here to represent DDB Canada, and we are the agency of record. And I do want to point out, and I want to just thank everybody who supports Crime Stoppers, because our job is easy when you have everybody out in the community who's getting the word out there on 222 Tips, as well as the website. So for this particular effort, this is I think the first time we've done a TV spot, and it's part of a bigger campaign that we're launching, doing a hard launch now. The point of this, the PSA, was to increase the volume of calls, and it was to increase awareness, as well as to get the message out there that indeed Crime Stoppers calling Crime Stoppers is an anonymous call. So for this, whereas most public service announcements, I think, tend to use guilt or empathy to get their word out there, their message out there, we wanted to do something a little different.
5795. If you can't reach me there, you can call myself on that 416-324-6311. Do the dash code.
滅罪熱線咧 ，Crime Stopper 咧就係我哋叫滅罪熱線啦。咁經已響多倫多咧成立咗20幾年。我哋本身亦都有個中文網站，因為自從我哋04年咧可以有24小時即時傳譯啦。咁你可以打4162228477無論你廣東話、國語咁嚟舉報。咁你或者係用上海話潮州話都冇問題。咁呢前年05年開始咧，我哋就加咗個中文網站，亦都係我哋首創全加拿大首唯有嘅中文網站咧。你上呢個 www.222tips.com 咧，你就可以舉報所有填上嗰個資料，等我哋警察知道需要有咩跟進嘅。咁咧無論你個網站比較方便咧，就係無論去到全世界每一個角落你都係唔需要擔心長途電話或者係言語上嘅障礙我哋都會可以去跟進。